Hello, my name's Victor. I'm excited to work with inventors with prototypes, short runs, and helping to validate their product. And today I've got a question that I think is important to answer because a lot of inventors send it to me, and that is, when is it right to prototype? Well, I think the first question, the more important question, is what is the value of a prototype? So let me go over the different reasons why a person would want a prototype, at least the first main and most important reasons. So the overall important reason for having a prototype is to demonstrate it to someone. So there are a lot of people you'd like to demonstrate it to. Like if you wanted to get support from an influencer, you would benefit by sending them a prototype or demonstrating it and getting their feedback on it, or even asking them to promote it on their channel if they have some form of following. Customers. I mean, you've got to talk with people to see if they want to buy the product. That's where the sales are going to come from. Whether you're licensing a big model these days, but if you're venturing, it's even, it's crucial to get the positive feedback from customers so that you'll know it will sell. And the next thing is investors. You want to demonstrate it to investors if you need money. I mean, the same goes for crowdfunding. I mean, you still have to convince people that this is a product worth purchasing. And a lot of people really need a demonstration to see what it is that you are working on. People aren't as imaginative as you think they are. So you got to really put it, in detail for them. Show them exactly how the product it functions, how the product does its job, and then you'll start to see a response from people. You don't want to rely on their imagination, like sending them a concept or sending them a sketch and saying, "What do you think?" That's not developed enough for them to give credible or valuable feedback, and they may not even give you feedback because it's so difficult to imagine because it hasn't been made yet. And marketing. If you don't have the money to manufacture, it's best to have some form of prototype or something to demonstrate in your marketing material, whether that be images or videos. It's important to demonstrate the product so that you can start building that crucial following. And that is actually the next thing you need to consider, following. A prototype is so important for demonstrating the product, and it's really important because these demonstrations are going to lead to people doing things. And one of those things is following you and keeping updated with you and seeing when the product's going to be available and commenting, suggestions or thoughts, things that help you, develop your prototype or your product even further and get it ready for production. You'll want those followers. Those followers are also going to be really important if you're in the crowdfunding scene. Those people you're going to want to pitch to when you start accepting orders, and you want to be on a good side with them. You want to have those people readily available so that you can pitch to them. And so that's the power of a prototype, helps you build a following. Then crowdfunding. I mentioned crowdfunding. Crowdfunding sites like actually Kickstarter have a requirement. You need a prototype. There have been times where, there was a time where you didn't require a prototype, or they didn't require a prototype from you, but that didn't really end up well, because if you look at a few campaigns, a lot of them started with concepts and then they couldn't deliver on the product because it was far more complex than they originally anticipated. And even though they may have raised hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, they still couldn't deliver the product because it was that much of an investment and that difficult of a problem to address. So now they have a rule: you need to have a prototype. So if you want to crowdfund, you're going to need at least a basic working prototype for your video, so that you can demonstrate the product and get the confidence of Kickstarter so that you can do things right. And then lastly, prototypes help flesh out the details of the product. So if you have questions or concerns about the mechanism, whether it works or not, you don't want to jump straight to patenting. You want to get those details fleshed out beforehand. Trust me, it's very, it's not comfortable working through a patent that was based on, the wrong technology or the wrong concepts. You can do, revisions, you can do file for extensions, but still, what's the point of doing something unnecessarily if you can just work out the details up front and then solidify your technology? You may even find details that you wouldn't have thought of going through and building a prototype that you can embed in your patent to make it that much stronger. So prototypes are essential for working through those types of kinks. So I've done my best to explain, a basic understanding of prototypes and their value. How do you go about demonstrating your product? Do you use a prototype? Do you use just a concept? I know in licensing, people, really good inventors actually don't make prototypes because they just create concept after concept after concept and present their products, as a catalog or as a list offering options. I know that business model, they use that technique often. But if you're going to sell this yourself or have the potential of selling it yourself, a prototype is going to do you a lot of justice. So with that, thank you. I'm Victor. I work to help realize ideas for inventors. If you need help, reach out to me. I'd be happy to work with you.